alcohol. So then when you put that on your skin, it will last 4 hours. So you have to apply it twice for 8 hours for the day, 8-hour day, twice. Eau de toilette, 10% essence, 10% water. The other 80% the alcohol. So when you put that on your skin, it will last 2 hours. You have to apply that 4 times in a day for the 8-hour day. So now, of course, expense-wise, of course, it goes by the concentration, because alcohol and water are nothing. So the 24%, the concentration of the perfume will be more expensive, and then the eau de parfum, and then the eau de toilette. So that's how it works. Okay, we're following through to the next room. So we can semicircle, so we can see, everyone can see this. We can come a little bit along so everyone can get in. There we go. Okay, so this is the other way of doing the extraction. You saw the hot way, the still. This way is the cold way. This is called cold extraction, enfleurage à froid. Now the cold way was done for fragile flowers that could not stand the heat. They would be destroyed with the heat. You couldn't use that method, so you'd have to use the cold method. Now there are 2 such flowers. One is the tuberose, but one is the most delicate, bless you. One is the most delicate of all flowers, and is used in 80% of perfumes, even some men's eau de toilette, is the jasmine, in fact. So this is the jasmine here. So what they did in the old days is, this is a frame, and this is glass. And this white thin layer that you see here is actually a layer of animal fat. What animal? It depends what farm was near at the time in those days. But then the ladies, they would have gone to the fields, they would have picked the jasmine off the fields, they would have come and they put the jasmine, as you see here, exactly like this on the fat. What they wanted to do was get the fragrance of the flower to absorb into the fat, extract the fragrance into the fat. Then they would leave it stacked up behind you for 24 hours. There is one behind you, sir, down the bottom, that is still, yeah, there. There's one here, everyone can have a quick look. This one is still here from the old days. Yeah, okay. So, then the next day they would come with new flowers that they had picked. They take these off, put the new ones on, and they change the flowers every day for 30 days. It took 30 days to get enough of the strength of the fragrance into the fat, after which they'd put the fragrant fat then into that machine they called a breaker. It would go in with alcohol, we use ethanol, and also orange blossom essence. The orange blossom essence was to get rid of, disguise the smell of the animal fat. And then it'd be broken up and washed and vaporized in that machine, and you'd end up with the jasmine essence. But it took a long time, 30 days a long time. Then also changing flowers every day was expensive, and the animal fat was no good. So this method was stopped in the 1970s. And the method that we use then until now, still today, we have like a big basket with lots of little perforated holes. We put the jasmine inside of that, and we dip that down into a big vat of a volatile solvent, a liquid called hexane. Now that hexane, that solvent, draws out the fragrance through the holes very quickly of the flowers. Within 8 hours, you'd have a very fragrant solvent, and then that would be vaporized in the same way, the same end process. And once that process had finished, you'd end up with the jasmine essence. But it would take 8 hours, only one set of flowers, much cheaper, and of course you're not using animal fat anymore. There is a picture of the old days of the old way where they were changing the flowers, still taken here in the 1950s in this factory, actually. So, okay, now we're going to move on to our little soap factory, just through here.
That's what I was saying before.
Okay, so here we have our little soap factory, as you can see. This is where actually we just make our egg soaps. We do have other soaps, don't worry. They're made in our other factory. This is just where we make these here though. So these are novelty soaps in the shape of eggs, and they come in a little egg carton. But they actually, the 6 soaps actually represent the fragrances of this region. So all of these fragrances, all of the plants, they grow in this region, Provence, Côte d'Azur. So how it starts off is we buy the natural soap flakes with coconut oil in this, and then it goes into that machine there. Now that's called a mixing machine. If you look, we have some in there actually that we just mixed today, this morning. So as you can see, it's pink. So we're actually making today rose, the rose one. So we put 3% rose essence. We use 3% essences in our soaps. Also a little colouring, pink, obviously. You need some colouring if you want to have coloured soaps, because actually essences don't have any colour in them. The essences, pure essences don't. So you need a little bit of tint in there. And then from there it will look like this, but pink, and it will go into the end here called a crusher. And what it will do is we'll go into here and we'll come out of here crushed in very thin layers. You can see a little bit of it.
Yes.
But you can see on the back wall there's a picture of very, very sort of thin, like fettuccine strips. And then from there, it goes into this machine. Now this machine heats up to 60 degrees. It gets hot and it makes the soap malleable. So it melts the soap and pushes it out in one big long log. And then it gets cut to the size you see here, the log, like this. And then of course it goes under the egg stacking machine, as you can see, and makes 2 eggs. And then the sides, the cuttings in the bucket, like this, as you see, they get recycled around, so you're not actually losing anything at all. Nothing goes to waste. We make 1,500 eggs here a day. So can anyone tell me the other fragrances then? How about the purple one?
Lilac.
Lavender?
Lavender.
Okay, no, not the violet, lavender. The orange one? Orange. Blossom, yeah. The white one? Jasmine, of course. The yellow one?
Lemon?
No. Magnolia's wall. No, lemon, no.
The yellow one?
Yeah. Mimosa, thank you. Oh, you smelt it. Yeah. And the green one actually is not green, it's a little white flower, but because we already have white, we've made it green. So you won't really know it from the colour and smelling it. I'm not sure if you'll get it, but it's honeysuckle. In French we call it chèvrefeuille, which means goat's leaf. So it doesn't translate well, but I think the goats like the leaves of the honeysuckle. That's why it's called that. So okay, so now we're going to move on. We make 1,500 eggs, so that's not too bad here. So we're going to move along here.
I know it.
So this is our. So as you can all see in here, this is our little laboratory here. Now that long table that you see at the back there, this is where you yourself can come actually, because it's a workshop. So if you go on the internet, you have to book through the internet though, of our website, www.fragonard.com, and you can actually come and do a workshop here. It's on a Wednesday and a Saturday, morning or afternoon, at 69 euros, but you come and they help you create your own fragrance. So you can create your own fragrance, and then you come away with another bag, lots of little goodies, also an apron with Fragonard and everything, a little certificate that creates your own fragrance. There you go. So it's a nice thing to do if you have time. But here in front, of course, this table right in front here, this is very important. This is where the creator of perfume sits. Now in France we have a special name for the creators of perfume. Do you know what they are called? Nobody knows?
No.
The nose.
The nose.
Le nez. They call it le nez, the nose. Now there aren't that many in the world that can do this. There are about 50 only noses in the world. So it's a very elite profession. And now if you want to become a nose, it takes 10 years of training, and even after the 10 years you're still just an apprentice under a master nose, because a master nose at the top of their career will be able to tell you what all those 3,000 essences are just by smelling them. Once you've done your 10 years of training, you'll know 350 to 400 you'll be able to do, but you just have to keep going. Of course, you have to be very good at chemistry, you have to have a very good sense of smell, and you have to be very clean living. It means you have to keep a very neutral palate, so no drinking alcohol, no smoking, no spicy foods, garlic, chili, no curry, anything like that you cannot have. Maybe that's why there's only 50. So there are a few lady noses, I know, but there's mainly about 40 men to 10 ladies. I do know Of an American lady, she's the nose for Estée Lauder, and a French lady, she's the nose for Guerlain. But there's mostly men, fortunately. I don't know why, but it's coming up a little bit more women nowadays, but in the old days it was no women at all. So now they would sit here at this table called an organ, because it looks like a church organ. And as you can see, there are 3 layers there, 3 shelves with lots of little essence bottles on it. Now that's because when you're creating a perfume, there's a special formula. The formula is made up of 3 notes. So you have the head note, the heart note, and the base note. So the head note would be the top essences there. They are always going to be citrus or naturals, so lemon, lime, orange, mandarin. And your naturals, things like green apple and ginger. That's the first thing you smell when you smell perfume, but it doesn't last. It goes away after a little while. Then you come to the heart note. That would be the middle shelf. Now the heart note is the reason why you guys are buying the perfume. So it might be something florally you prefer, or something a little more fruity, sweeter, or something a little more oriental, a little more heavier, spicier. So that would be those middle ones there, and that's the heart of the perfume that stays with you. Then you have the base notes. It's like the foundation of the perfume that holds it all together. That would be the last shelf there, and they are always going to be the woods. Cedar wood, sandalwood, pine, but also classed as a wood is musk, is vanilla, is amber, is patchouli. They're all classed as wood. So you need those 3 notes when you are creating perfume. But when I say those 3, I don't mean one of each, just 3, 3 essences does not create a perfume. I mean, most perfumes have between 50 and 250 different essences can go into creating that one smell, that one perfume. And if the creator, the nose, is creating a perfume with 150 to 200 essences, it will take a number of years to perfect that. It's not something that's done quickly overnight, the creation of perfume. So now we are going to test your noses, the best part. We're going to go upstairs and see if you can tell me what's in these perfumes. If you'd like to follow me. Alright, so we're going to do some smelling now. We're going to start off with the ladies' perfumes, the gold ones you can see, and the men's are here in the silver like you saw downstairs. So the ladies come in categories. They come in 4 categories. You have your light naturals, then you have your floral, then you have your fruity, and then you have your oriental and your heavier ones. We're going to try one from each category and see what you think. We're going to start off with the lightest. Now, just a little thing about your nose. If your nose gets too much, because maybe at some point you can't smell, to neutralize your nose, what you have to do is smell your own skin or your own clothing, smelling yourself 3 times 3 seconds like this. 3 times 3 seconds. And smelling your actual own body odor will actually neutralize your nose so you can smell again. Yeah. So now we're going to start with a nice light fresh fragrance. This one is called Étoile, meaning star. It's nice light fresh citrusy. It's nice for this time of year, the end of the summer. So let's see what you think. Just like to take this much.
بارد وايد حلو والله.
You all got one?
Huh?
You all smelling? So, of course, what do I say? What's the first thing you're going to smell?
برتقال بعد.
What citrus are you smelling though?
Orange.
Everyone says orange.
Almost.
Every time. It's lemon. Actually, it's lemon. Yeah, we're smelling lemon. Also, in this one, can you smell anything else? We have some naturals in this one. We have actually the naturals that I said. Green apple and ginger. Now if I say it, sometimes you look for it and then you can actually smell it. The heart of this, we've got some jasmine and lily of the valley. At the base we have amber. It's a nice light fresh fragrance. The next one we're going to try is actually my favorite, and this one was created in 1946. So it's one of the oldest ones that we have. Now this is floral. It's very classic, it's very romantic smell. It's called Belden Weed, Beauty of the Night.
شو العطر هذا اسمه؟
Flower, which fragrance you can only smell at night because it only opens at night, which is also in this. So it's classic, very feminine.
هذا اسمي.
Okay, so this is classic, very feminine, made of flowers, very romantic. So 1946, don't forget. So what sort of flowers can we smell in this?
Jasmine.
It's the only one that doesn't have jasmine in it. It doesn't have lavender in it either.